And more precisely, in this survey, 53% of leaders agree with the statement, quote, "Our foundation funders are primarily interested in information about my organization's performance that will be useful to them, rather than information that provides utility to me and my organization." And then just to put a final bow on this muddiness from the just released Foundation Transparency Report, quote, "Only 29% of nonprofit leaders report having a clear understanding of how foundations use the information from their organizations that they're required to provide." So there's not a sense that there's an investment in these nonprofits, in their ability to assess and improve their performance, nor is there clarity about even how the foundations are using the information that they receive.
This panel is focused on the funder side, what we can do as funders. And I'd like to start it off provocatively with a quote from David Hunter. And for those of you who know David, he does not mince words. This comes from his book, Working Hard and Working Well. And I quote, "An admonishment to those funders who demand performance in which they don't invest, results for which they don't pay, and accountability from which they exempt themselves." Generally speaking, I think it's a fair criticism.
And through a lot of dialogue, focus groups, one-on-one surveys with our grantees, we identified a set of capacity building areas that we would fund over and above general operating or program support. And these include areas such as leadership development, collaboration, communications, policy and advocacy, and outcomes and learning. We want to be able to help the organizations that we support become really strong in these areas.
That general operating raised the bar on trust. We did not have any track record that indicated that we would steward general operating dollars well. It was a brutal fact. And yet, they intervened and said, "We're going to give this to you." And in the case of Robertson, they said, "And we have one requirement. You cannot grow." What? Like, we've scaled hugely in the 90s. That's why people give us money. Nope. We actually want you to use this money to stabilize your operations. And they did not give us a lot of other requirements. So the expectation that you have for at-risk kids, of high expectations, they will rise to the occasion, so is our sector. Trust us, create high expectations, hold us accountable to driving our own quality impact. Super important.
Instill a case where you're going to have a rigorous management process and a culture that deals with continuous improvement, and know that it takes a lot of time to build this kind of greatness in organizations, and fund it and support it and nurture it over time. And I do think that's how one builds great organizations today. And great organizations have disproportional impact. And if you want to have that impact through your money, then putting that money into that kind of long-term growth of organizations for that sustainability, that meaningful impact, I think that's the game.